Hi, my name's Juliet, and this is a guide for those who are complete beginners with Scrivener on how to compile an ebook in Scrivener 3 for Windows. The compile screen is where you make your manuscript into something that can be read by others, or you if you're doing the proofing. In this case, an ebook. It does this by taking the structure you have defined with section types. In the inspector, under Metadata, you'll see a pull-down list called section type. Depending on which template you're using, you may see different things in the list, but it's basically divided into chapter types and scene types. If you've done nothing here already, you'll probably see structure-based selected, which is based on the norms for that template, but may not be entirely as you need it. Every folder and text document in your manuscript has a section type. If you wish to override the structure-based settings, you select the type you want from the list, or create your own. All of these default section types have default layout settings in Compile, but those can be changed. If something isn't working properly when you compile, the problem is highly likely to be with the section type. To create your own section types, or to see the structure, click on Edit. Adding and deleting section types is managed via the plus and minus buttons. Under the tab Default Types by Structure, you can see the structure-based setup. Click on any of the items and you'll see the places where it's applied highlighted in the binder. This will help you to decide what is categorized correctly or not. Alternatively, you can simply manually assign all your section types to be certain. Now, let's go to the compile screen, where, eventually, all this will become clear. There's a lot to cover. The first thing we're going to look at is the Compile For list at the top. This is where you choose what you're going to compile your manuscript into. You'll see I've got EPUB 3 ebook selected. This is the format you will need for uploads. There is an option for Mobi, for which you have to download extra software. I have another video on that. But most retailers accept EPUB formats, and EPUB 3 is the most advanced format. Let's start with the right-hand section of the screen. Here, in the main window, you'll see a list of everything that's included in your compile. You can, if you wish, select and deselect items with the tick boxes. You'll notice that you can also see the section types here. This gives you a final check to make sure everything is all right. Down the bottom, you have the option to include front and back matter. This is taken from their specific folders, which will be outside of the manuscript itself in your binder. You will have to create a back matter folder, but templates come with a front matter folder. Simply tick the box and select the folder from the list, and the individual files should then appear in Compile. If you only want to compile a part of your manuscript, you can select that from the Compile pull-down menu. Say if you just wanted a specific chapter. There are also filter options. At the top of this section, you'll see a number of icons. These change depending on what compile output you've chosen. The second icon is your metadata, where you can fill out your book name and title. You don't have to fill out everything else here, but you can if you wish. The next icon gives you options for including or not things in the editor in your manuscript. You'll see remove comments and annotations are automatically selected, as you wouldn't normally want to compile those. I wouldn't worry too much about this screen unless you have a particular issue after compiling your manuscript. In the next screen, you have the option to replace words and phrases during compile. Once again, this is unlikely to be needed in most cases. The next icon, however, is important. This is where you add your cover image. You'll see that it defaults to first image in front matter folder, which is where you would usually save the cover image. And the final item is options for your table of contents. A table of contents will be automatically generated for you unless you deselect this. And in most cases, you probably won't need to change the defaults. Okay, let's jump over to the left-hand section. This is where you'll choose your specific output format. Ignore the project formats. You won't see this. Just look at Scrivener formats. What we want is EBook, but try clicking on the others and you'll see that the central section changes with the selected format. And that central section is where we're going now. Section layouts is where you decide what format all your section types, the ones that you chose in the inspector, are going to look like when compiled. As I mentioned earlier, there are defaults, and those are what you'll see in this window. They may be slightly different from these. You don't have to do anything else here if you think the scenes and chapters look okay. You can simply press compile. But we're going to go into the section layouts so you know how to change them if you find they don't suit you. So down the bottom of the section, click on Assign Section Layouts. In the window that appears, you'll see all the section types you've used in your manuscript listed down the left-hand side, and on the right you'll see all the possible section layouts you can choose. You have a visual representation and a description beneath it. Click on the section type and then click on the section layout to select it. Anything that says only section title will take the title of the folder or text document from the binder. Anything that says part or chapter or is a number will automatically consecutively number those elements in your document and not take your headings from the binder. There are some layouts which have both, so if you like your chapters numbered and with a custom title, those are the ones you should choose. Anything that has a page break line at the top will, obviously, put in a page break, but that will also prompt it to be an entry in the table of contents. Bordered means lines top and bottom. All of these can be quite confusing to look at to start with, so take your time. I'd recommend keeping titles and scenes separate to start with, so not choosing a style that has a section with title, for example. The final option, as is, will take exactly what is in the editor. This is probably not the best option in most cases, only where specific display is required, like the copyright page, for example. So, once you've changed everything and exited the section layouts window, click on Compile, name your file as you would any other, and that's it. Your file will be compiled. Scrivener has finished doing its work when it takes you back to the editor screen. You'll now have a file that you can open and proof in any application that accepts EPUBs. If you only have a Kindle, you'll need to download the Mobi software and choose that option from the Compile menu. And one last thing. If you want to save your assigned layouts but not compile quite yet, you should be prompted to do this with a tooltip. But just in case, hold down Alt and the Compile button will change to Save. Compile will take a while to get your head around. It seems like a lot to take in, but once you're set up, you probably won't change much as you go forward. Thanks for watching, and if you've subscribed, I'll see you again next time.